Okay, I can, let me share. The board looks pretty straightforward here. Getting yeah, we still wait for review here. Okay. What's going on the PKP integration side?
So last week this was in draft, and so there was no reviewers assigned to it yet. I was like, why don't you move it out of draft? They're like, it's not ready, it's not ready. And maybe now it is, and we can add reviewers to it.
So they want to actually, they're still cleaning up. I think they already, is it still in? It's not draft anymore. So now it's open. But let's ask. We have reviews so that we have reviews depending on what the answer is. Yeah. So that we have a clear statement here. And this one is a draft yet. Never see task.
Yeah, I think this is a request from somebody on maybe, I'm gonna say the Cloud Controller, Cappy team or something, of when they bump packages. Oh no, maybe it was the Diego teams. That they, oh yeah, the team in charge of the Go router, because Go likes to break stuff. They don't lock to Golang 1x. They actually lock to like Golang 120 because stuff will break. So they want a way of the auto bump tasks in here to like remove a 119 and then add a 120 at the same time, which doesn't solve all of their problems because they still have to go update their package specs to say include the other version, because you can't glob in a package spec, I don't think, but it makes their life slightly easier.
Yep.
Not sure why it's a draft though, because it seems like pretty straightforward change.
Also, Ramon had some feedback on it. Let's ask.
Yeah. This is probably a good thing for us to post somewhere. This is a problem we have in VMware internally also, is like, how do we talk to all the teams responsible for all the BOSH releases? We don't really have a good communication channel. Similar in like, CFF Slack is like, we could post in the BOSH channel, but how many other people are actually in there who are the audience we're trying to reach, which is that there's these shared tasks in here for auto bumping packages and keeping things up to date. And we want people to use them to keep things up to date. And, we mentioned this like a year or two ago when we made them internally at VMware, and like, there was really no response. And then I think Aaron was looking for feedback on them recently, and like 4 teams were like, this is great. We duplicated all this work. We wish we'd known about this. And it's might be good for us. I'll post this in Slack somewhere to remind everybody in CFF Slack that these exist and are intended to make people's lives easier, not duplicate this infrastructure.
Yeah, on our side we have similar issues. Yeah, it's. Okay.
That would require a specific channel, like BOSH release maintainers. in CFF Slack. I don't know, maybe something like this.
Yeah.
Well,
It seems it sounds very useful. I feel like it's hard for them to get all the people into that channel
yeah.
and keep them there.
In the past, I've been expanding a bit the exemplar release to showcase more best practice in authoring Bosch releases. This is somehow related. So at some point, you need to spread some new way of doing, because you realize it would be better to do this, and many Bosch release to adopt such way of doing. Anyway, we have few time behind this. That's a limited time. So
yeah. Yeah. What is this? This is a fresh one.
That is a duplicate IP. Almost certainly. Would be my guess. Where it's like doing stuff, it's compiling, then all of a sudden talks to the agent. It's like, nope, not talking to you anymore. Is often because then it hits the other VM on the IP. What CPI are we using? Oh, it's AWS. AWS doesn't normally let you have duplicate IPs. Or does it? I forget. I don't.
Duplicate.
Or two VMs on the same IP. It's also weird that it failed at exactly 15 minutes. Not a compilation timeout. I'll try to take a look at this, but
okay.
Seems somewhat interesting.
Are the docs here actually up to date? Or?
the exact 15 minutes time is indeed surprising, but the last compiling task, sorry, is 12 minutes 17 seconds. So not really looks like a timeout.
Yeah, it just happened to be exactly 15 minutes.
Possibly.
Yeah, this is weird. Like the EOF makes me think it's a duplicate IP, but I don't think AWS lets you. It's not a cert problem because that would have happened at the beginning when it tried to talk to the VM. Might have been something just failed on the VM. I'll ask him about duplicate IPs, and if not that, like get him to get the agent logs, which is a pain, but there's a page I can point them to.
So you can check on the Kunzo, for example. Okay, but yeah. Do you want to comment on this, Joseph, or should we comment now?
I can add some comments.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, which repo was that in? That was in the.
It was on
Bosch bootloader. Okay.
Bosch bootloader. I think this one we can close. It was comment last week.
Yeah.
No reaction. Or should we wait another week?
Comment now and say any other issues, or can we close this or something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. So this is still open. We can wait another week. We don't hear you, Joseph.
I'm muted. I'm muted. Talking and muted, silly. I'll add another comment here asking if they've had a chance to look at it.
Okay. I think this is also, we have, yeah, we are waiting for a contribution here. And let's look also into this one. I will give this another week, still open. And I think we are, everything else looks out. Is there something else you want to discuss?
I had more question. Well, Ramon and I had more of a question for Ruben, but we'll throw it out here too, just in case, which is just the infrastructure repo that we use to deploy the foundational infrastructure BOSH. It was originally more of a repo intended for any Cloud Foundry team to be able to deploy CI infrastructure. And so now we're renaming it because it's got like GKE in the name, and now it's BOSH deployed. And there's a question of, do we keep it generic, or is it no, this is the BOSH one. Right now, in the moving it over to foundational infrastructure stuff, there is some like specific stuff in the Terraform and the deployment manifest. They're kind of specific to us. So like we need to move those out somewhere else if we're going to make it generic. So there's a question of like, is this really a repo that other working groups are potentially going to use? And is it worth the effort to make it generic? It's not a ton of work, but it is some amount of work and some amount of, where do we keep the BOSH specific stuff then?
I know that the application runtime interfaces working group, the application autoscaler, for example, they were inspired by this repo and they created something which is a little bit different. And the application runtime deployment working group used actually the stuff from the application runtime interfaces working group. So I don't think there is a lot of usage of this repository outside our working group because they decided for a different approach, which is more testable. And so I think they implemented all in Go and used Terraform. And our repository is based more on Bash scripts, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean,
they went for a slightly different approach, but they've been inspired by this repository and they still use parts of it. But I don't think this makes it so generic that we should go.
Right. Everybody's going to have a little bit of a different opinion and want to customize it. So is it really worth it to make it so generic that it's, if everybody's going to fork it anyway or just go a different direction, then why go to the effort? Okay.
Yeah,
that's good feedback.
For keeping it like foundational infrastructure. I don't think that we need to invest the effort to separate stuff, but maybe Ruben has a different opinion.
He was the one who, sounded like he was, when we were talking about renaming it, he was like, is this really generic still? Maybe we add FI to the end of the name.
Yeah. Okay, I will take the meeting notes lately. And enjoy the day or the evening, and see you
Mm.
next time. Yeah, take
Alright.
care.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you next week. Bye.